The void was absolute. In the far reaches of Valtraxis 7, where suns flickered like distant embers and calms fell silent, the ESS Pathfinder drifted beneath a black canopy of stars. Captain Elias Horn stood rigid on the command deck, eyes fixed on the alien beacon spinning slowly before them. It pulsed with an unnatural rhythm, low, steady, alive. "Ma'am, we're getting a quantum echo. Unknown structure," Ensign Tora said, fingers dancing over the console. Horn narrowed his eyes. "Record everything. Prepare a probe." Before the probe could launch, the beacon flashed once. Then hell unfolded. Out of the dark, 3 vessels dropped in unison. Not ships, things. Shaped like bone and obsidian, alive in places, cloaked in shadow. No weapons powered up. No transmissions. Only silence. A sickly shriek burst through the comms. No language, no reason, just sound engineered to tear into thought. 1 second later, the Pathfinder ceased transmitting. 2 weeks later. ESS Vindicator, Outer Sol outskirts. Captain Mara Vance read the classified brief in silence. She'd read it 3 times, but each time, the ending was the same, missing. No debris. No escape pods. No trace. She stood inside the dim ops bay of Earth's first long-range stealth cruiser. Sleek. Black. A predator in design, quiet and lethal. Grendel, the ship's AI, spoke first. "Mission parameters acknowledged. Objective: investigate Pathfinder's disappearance. Threat level unknown. Probability of confrontation high." Mara turned her eyes toward the observation deck, where Valtraxis 7 glowed faintly in the distance. Her voice was low. "My brother was on that ship." Silence. "Understood," Grendel replied. The Vindicator sliced through space without trail or trace, wrapped in a gravity veil. Inside, the crew worked like parts of a machine, efficient, trained, silent. Lieutenant Ruiz, all muscle and mischief, broke the quiet. "Bet 50 credits it's pirates." Dr. Zhao, her face gaunt under medical visor lights, countered without looking up. "No pirate leaves no trace." Ruiz grinned. "Then it's ghosts." Mara didn't flinch. "If it is, we burn them." The bridge fell silent again. 3 days into Valtraxis 7 territory, they found it. The Pathfinder's outer hull drifted slowly, spinning like a discarded toy. Gaping holes dotted the frame, no scorch marks, no sign of weapon fire. Just punctures. Like it had been peeled. Ruiz's voice came through the internal calm. "This wasn't an ambush. It was a slaughter." Dr. Zhao ran scans, her breath caught in her throat. "Trace organics, human tissue, and something else. Not any xeno we've catalogued. The cellular degradation looks fed on." Mara clenched her jaw. They retrieved what data cores they could, salvaging torn holographic logs. The footage was corrupted, static, blurred screams, dark figures moving fast between shadows. Mara watched it once, then ordered it sealed. That night, if night existed in deep space, Mara stood in her quarters, staring at the still frame of her brother smiling beside her. The light in his eyes. The smile she hadn't seen in years. She turned away. Grendel's voice broke the quiet. "We are not alone. Unidentified vessel inbound. Cloaked." Mara didn't ask how it had found them. She simply said, "All hands. Combat stations." The ship appeared out of nowhere, an obsidian structure shaped like a blade with wings. No lights. No engines visible. Just a presence that made the air aboard Vindicator tighten. "They're scanning us," Zhao warned. "Don't wait," Mara said. "Launch counterscan. Hit them with a sonar burst." The echo bounced back, distorted. "Alive." Ruiz's voice crackled. "They're moving, fast, closing in." The enemy ship released no fire. Instead, it opened. Tendrils shot toward Vindicator's hull. Mara screamed. "Deploy drone swarm! EMP net now!" Tiny autonomous drones spiraled out, forming a lattice of ionized pulses around the alien ship. The moment the net engaged, The enemy vessel convulsed, shuddering like an animal in pain. Parts of it melted. Other parts screamed. Yes, screamed. Ruiz piloted a counterpod directly into the breach and fired a gravitic mine into the creature's ship's core. The detonation didn't explode. It imploded. One moment, there was an alien vessel trying to consume them. The next, there was silence. Debris. Residue. Nothing whole remained. In the aftermath, Zhao retrieved an object from the wreckage, a shard, pulsing faintly. Etched onto it were rows of symbols, curved, harsh, methodical. She looked at Mara. We ran this against the Xenolinguistic database. It's a log. Translate. Zhao's voice quivered. One word stands out. Mara waited. Zhao didn't blink. Harvest. Mara sent a secure transmission back to Earth. This isn't a misunderstanding. This is biology. These things aren't at war. They're feeding. We're next. She stared at the screen long after the message had been sent. Grendel, she said, what are the odds of peaceful contact? 0.01%. Margin of error, irrelevant. She nodded once. They're used to prey, she said softly. Let's show them what predators look like. Captain Mara Vance stood inside the dim hangar of the ESS Vindicator, fastening the final lock on her Korvathi armor. The jagged plating had once belonged to a creature that tried to rip her ship apart. Now it was her camouflage. The stolen armor reeked of organic decay. The insides pulsed faintly, alive in some residual way. She didn't flinch. Bio-reading stable, Dr. Zhao reported, her gloved hands hovering over the scanner. This thing's not rejecting you, yet. Mara adjusted her breathing regulator. Long enough to get inside. Ruiz stepped forward, slipping his blade into a thigh sheath. So we sneak onto a hive ship in the belly of enemy territory, wearing their skin. What's the worst that could happen? Mara gave a humorless smirk. We don't come back. The stolen Korvathi skiff groaned as it slid into the docking chamber of the dreadnought Voltalker. No alarms triggered. No guards. Just vast, fleshy corridors wrapped in bone-like lattice and humming with low-frequency resonance. They stepped out, weapons hidden beneath armor folds. Zhao whispered. This whole ship, it's grown, not built. Ruiz muttered. Then let's hope it doesn't decide to digest us. They moved in tight formation, following pulse-mapping scans Grendel fed into Mara's visor. The deeper they went, the more unbearable the heat, the thicker the air, the louder the hum. Then they found it. The Harvest Matrix. A spherical chamber pulsing with energy. Floating holograms projected alien text alongside video feeds, planets, species, classifications. And among them Earth. Mara stepped closer. Earth's image flickered. Designation. Class 3 Emotional Apex Species, Harvest pending. Thao's voice cracked. They're not fighting us. They're cataloging us. They think emotions are exploitable traits. They're right, Mara said flatly. That's why we're dangerous. They passed into the lower decks, dark, humid, rotting. Cells lined the walls. Prisoners. Dozens. All species unfamiliar. Thin, wounded, broken. One lifted his head as they passed. Thin limbs, translucent skin, deep black eyes. You are the Fury. The Fire, he said in broken Galactic common. Mara stepped closer. You are humans, he rasped. We heard the stories. The ones who scream when they bleed. The ones who fight even after death. Zhao crouched beside the cell. Who are you? Thalion, the prisoner said. We were thinkers. Now we are food. Mara's face hardened. What happened to you? We wept when they came, he said. You rage. That is what frightens them. You are not prey. You are chaos. Ruiz whispered. We need to get them out. No, Mara said. We trigger a rescue after we return. If they see us free prisoners now, the whole mission's blown. The Thalion grabbed the bars, eyes fierce despite his frailty. Make them fear again. They reached the comms node, a grotesque bioorganic sphere wrapped in neural wiring. Grendel transmitted a compact virus through a relay spike. The code would fracture Korvathi command bandwidth across their war fleet. No message could be trusted. Chaos would bloom. But the virus needed time to propagate. Ruiz took position, scanning the corridor. "We've got movement." Zhao's eyes flicked to her HUD. "Something's coming. Fast." "Grendel," Mara whispered. "Status?" 70%. 5 more minutes." A screech tore through the air, high, brutal, hunting. Then they saw it. A Korvathi assassin class. Smaller than the others. Faster. Built like a nightmare. Blade limbs. No eyes. Mouth like a broken saw. It charged. Mara and Ruiz opened fire, plasma rounds ripping into its armor. It kept coming. Zhao ducked behind the relay sphere. "Grendel, now or never!" 85%. "Wait!" The creature lunged. Ruiz tackled Mara out of the way. The assassin drove its bladed limb through Ruiz's chest. He gasped. Blood hit the wall in a mist. Mara screamed and unloaded her entire clip into the beast's head. It finally fell. She dropped to her knees beside Ruiz. His hand found hers. "You still owe me those credits," he whispered, smiling. Then he was gone. The virus completed. They ran. Alarms finally triggered. The ship groaned. Doors sealed. Sirens blared in frequencies that shattered the senses. Mara activated the recall beacon. "Get us the hell out!" The extraction pod slammed into the hull like thunder. They barely made it aboard before launch. The skiff burned behind them as Grendel guided the Vindicator's grapples to intercept. Back aboard, silence. Zhao collapsed beside Mara on the deck, breath ragged. "We got it in. The virus is working." Mara stared straight ahead. "And Ruiz?" No answer. Hours later, in the war room, Earth Command flickered to life. Admiral Cade's face filled the screen. "You disobeyed the containment protocol, Captain." Mara didn't blink. "We gained intel that proves they're preparing to wipe out Earth and everything near it. You want to debate ethics while we're being catalogued as livestock?" A silence followed. Cade leaned forward. "The virus you uploaded, it's working. Korvathi fleets are blind. They're tearing into each other." Mara nodded. "That's a start. But at what cost?" She stared at the camera. "We lost one man. They lost their control. That's a price I'll pay every time." Cade sat back. "Earth wants options. We don't want full war. They started it," she said. "We're finishing it." Later, alone, Mara stood in the observation deck, watching the distant red swirl of Valtraxis. Grendel's voice broke the silence. "Do you regret it?" "No. You are changing," it said. "I have to," she replied. "They don't understand us yet. And when they do," she turned her eyes to the stars, "they'll wish they never had." The war had a sound. Not the roar of engines or the scream of plasma fire, but silence. The quiet before it all started. That final breath before the galaxy changed forever. Captain Mara Vance stood on the command deck of the ESS Vindicator, watching thousands of ships fill the black beyond the viewport. Earth's fleet had arrived, raw, ugly, brutal. Not elegant cruisers like the Korvathi, but iron-born vessels patched with alien salvage, engineered for one purpose: survival. The voice of Admiral Cade came through the secure channel. "Vindicator, confirm fleet readiness." Mara answered flatly. "Ready." He hesitated. "You know what this means?" "Yes," she said. "It means they bleed." The channel closed. No fanfare. No speeches. Humanity wasn't here to talk. The Korvathi fleet broke warp over Valtraxis 7 like a tidal wave. Living dreadnoughts crawled out of hyperspace in precision formations. The Volzareth, flagship of Archlord Zerkal himself, led the charge. Its hull pulsed with crimson, its surface covered in spines and long, moving appendages that shimmered with energy. Inside the ship, Zerkal stood motionless, claws behind his back. Around him, his generals watched feeds of the approaching humans. One asked, "They bring all they have, to this?" "They bring all they are," Zerkal replied. "We will show them why emotion is extinction." Back aboard the Vindicator, Grendel's synthetic voice cut through the tension. "Enemy fleet locked. Incoming in 40 seconds. Deploy phalanx grid," Mara ordered. "All wings to dispersion formation. Don't meet their power, break their shape." Human ships scattered like glass in wind. The Korvathi responded with predatory precision, unleashing focused plasma arrays toward the heart of the formation. But the humans weren't there. Instead, smaller vessels fired gravitic warheads into the Korvathi vanguard. The explosions folded space, ripping apart 5 vessels mid-coordinated thrust. Mara watched the enemy stutter. "Emotion, Zerkal?" she muttered. "Try fury." Inside the chaos, elite boarding squadrons launched from Vindicator. Mara led Alpha Team herself, descending toward the Volzareth in a breacher pod wrapped in stealth alloy. The ride was short, sharp, brutal. Alarms screamed as they pierced the flagship's hull and burned through organic plating. Her boots hit the floor. Weapons up. Mech suit hissing at her back. "Move!" she barked. The team advanced, torching defensive growths, cutting through biosynthetic barriers. Every corridor looked alive, twitching as if aware of their presence. Zhao's voice crackled in her ear. "Mara, the virus is still disrupting their command net. They can't coordinate. Then we finish this before they adapt." Zerkal waited in the throne chamber, a cavernous dome of black bone and flowing liquid light. He wore no armor. Only his natural carapace, thick, spiked, towering. He heard them coming. He could feel their rage. Mara entered alone, eyes locked on the beast. Zerkal tilted his head. "You bring yourself. Not an army? I didn't need one last time either." His mandibles spread. "You mistake chaos for strength. You mistake silence for weakness," she replied, unholstering a plasma blade. "We don't run because we're scared. We run because we're calculating. And when we strike..." She lunged. The duel was fast and vicious. Blade met claw, sparks flying in arcs of searing light. Zerkal moved like a serpent, fluid, overwhelming. But Mara was human. Unpredictable. Each cut, each step, improvised. He pinned her once, ripping into her shoulder. She screamed. Then headbutted him. Blood ran from her brow. "That's for Reese." He slashed again, missed. She slid low, driving the fusion blade beneath his armor, into his secondary heart. Zerkal gasped. "You are not prey." "No," she whispered. "I'm what you created when you made us fight." The chamber collapsed around her. As alarms triggered across the Volzareth, Mara limped back to the breach point. Her team was waiting, covering the corridor. "Is he dead?" one asked. She nodded. "He died scared." Outside, the Korvathi fleet buckled. Without Zerkal's control, panic spread. The virus took root again. Conflicting orders, misfire chains, friendly fire. One Korvathi cruiser rammed another, ripping both in half. Earth's fleet advanced like sharks in blood. Within an hour, Valtraxis 7 was cleared. The Vindicator emerged from the smoke, scarred but intact. Mara stood on the bridge, shoulder bandaged, eyes hollow. Admiral Cade appeared on comms. "It's done. Their empire fractured. Other species are rising up." She didn't smile. "They'll regroup eventually. We'll be ready," he replied. "I wasn't talking about them." Weeks passed. Mara stood atop the Martian defense ring, watching ships ferry supplies across the solar system. Earth was no longer prey. It was something else now. She felt Grendel's presence behind her. "They fear us," it said. "They should. But fear corrupts." She nodded. "That's why we remember who we were." Grendel paused. "Will they?" She stared at the stars. "Depends what we have to become next." In the Galactic archives, under the new human entry, 3 words were engraved by alien historians. "Do Not provoke.